Good day everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about CSS. This is the web design masterclass. We have been talking about HTML, which is we have been talking about HTML so far, but today we are talking about CSS. So this class is mainly for our students in gifted computer technology. But if they are here on our YouTube channel, you want to benefit from it, kindly watch it from A to Z. All these videos are going to be in a category by category where you can watch and learn about CSS, how you can use it to design a website. Well, this class is a basic class. The practical class, major practical class, are being done on our social media group for all our students. So today we are going to discuss about CSS. So what is CSS? CSS is a language that we use to style a document. CSS describes how elements should be displayed on our website. For instance, let me go to yahoo.com. for instance. Let me go to yahoo.com. Let me just find a website. So we see what I am talking about in this place. So this is the website. This is yahoo.com. This is the website, and we saw what is happening here, and it told us in our definition that CSS describes how elements should be displayed on a website. So now we can see we have many write-up on this particular website. This the workers made a workers blog, and we can see this is a blog. These are blogs, and we can see the style, we can see the border, we can see the categories of the post and everything. So it is the work of CSS that make it to be styled and arranged in these particular places. So you can see the over. You can see all these things on the menu of this website. You can see this thing. You can see all these things. You can see many style that was applied. You can see style on this text. You can see that style on this. You can see many style that was applied on this text. So all these are work of CSS, and CSS is even beyond all this. But let's dive into the study in detail. Now this tutorial will teach you CSS from basic to advanced. So we have a sample on each chapter, which I'm going to be taking step by step on this tutorial. So make sure you are watching this tutorial to the end, because we are going to be doing practical. So we can see CSS tutorial contain 100 examples of CSS examples. So with outline editor, you can edit the CSS or click on a button to view the result. So we have many code editor, but the code editor we are using for this class is Visual Code Editor, VS Code. So let me tell you the list of code editor. So we have many of them. We have Notepad, we have Atom, we have Sublime Text, we have Emacs, we have Ultra Edit. We have many of them like that. You can see, you can go to this website. This is Udemy. I'll put it on the description of the video, whereby you can check it out. But the one that I prefer, you can see Visual Studio Code. You can see this is the number one that Ostiga is putting at the top. This is the number one that they are putting at the top. So and this is the one that we are using in this class. So we have Sublime Text, we have Atom. So all these things work in different ways. But so far you know what you are doing, you'll be able to use them. So now let's go back to our class. So this is a sample of CSS. Body, open brackets, background color, light blue color. Then this H1, we have taught this one in our HTML class, that H1 is heading. The first heading is H1. Then this P is another HTML element, which is paragraph. You can see inside our paragraph, we have font family, we have Fanadan, we have font size, we have 20%. So H1 we have color white. The text outline is center. So now let's go to the introduction. We are going to cover many areas in this first part. We have seen that CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. It's just like a notebook that you want to style. Maybe you draw a house. Let me search for a house. Art. you draw a house, you want to style it, you want to beautify it. I think when we are in primary school, we used to draw on our drawing book. That our teacher we said we should buy crayon and style it out. You can draw, you can give your house a colors, you can style it the way you want. If you want the pan to be blue, you can put the blue, the window to be red, the door to be black, you can put it on the color. So that's the same thing that CSS also do. So CSS describe how HTML elements are to display on the screen, paper, or other media. So CSS save a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple pages at once. We can see on Yahoo website, yahoomail.com, we see what is happening here. You can see the animations, you can see the over of all this data. It has been applied automatically, so we saw how it works. So now external sheets are stored in CSS file, so I'll be explaining more in details when we start a sample now, so we can go through all this one. So why do we use CSS? CSS is used to define style for our web page, including the design, layout, variation in display for different devices and screen size. We have desktop side. For instance, let me go to Yahoo website now. You can see we can inspect this one. This is the desktop side. This is the desktop side of this website. When I click on inspect, it will go to the mobile side. So this is the mobile side of this website. Okay, this is the iPad. Now see the iPad, you can change the dimension here. You can see different phone. This is iPhone 12 Pro. See how it will look on iPhone 12 Pro. You can see it now. See how it will look on Samsung Galaxy. So you can see it now. This is how to inspect on how the website will look on your phone, and that is why they are talking about different devices and screen size in this particular example. Now they give us an example here: background color, blue, white, center, all this. So if you can see now, CSS solve a big problem. HTML never intend to contain tag for formatting a web page. So if you follow us in our class that we did on the HTML, we are talking about tag. They say HTML in the beginning they don't have tag, but because of CSS you need to use tag. So we have, this is heading, this is a tag, this is the opening tag, and this is the closing tag of H1. The same thing to the paragraph, and the same thing to the closing paragraph. So we have tag like font. You can see it now. This is a tag, and color attributes are added to the HTML 3.2 specification. It starts a nightmare for web developer. Development of large website where font and color information are added to every single page became a large and expensive process. To solve this problem, the World Wide Web Consortium W3C created CSS. So that was why CSS was created. So CSS removed the style formatting from HTML page. So it saves a lot of work. So you can see the style definition are normally saved in external.css file. For instance, you may desire to use your name. Maybe you are doing a work, you want to use your, let me say John Shop.css. So you are styling a particular document, maybe the name of the page is John Shop, and you are styling it. When you want to save your file, you use johnshop.css. So any CSS file you are saving must have .css at the back for your code editor to know that yes, this is a CSS document. So we are going to do the practical now before I close on this video, but let's go to the next one, which is CSS syntax. So CSS syntax now explain everything in detail. A CSS rule consists of a selectors and a declaration block. So this one define our CSS work in the code editor. So we can see we have the selector, which is our HTML element. The selector point to the HTML element we want to style. So for instance, okay, I have a HTML code here. Let me just put H1. Well, welcome to our tutorial class. So now let me save it now. I will save it. Let me save it in a folder. Save as. You create a new folder, save your work. This one is indexed. So if this one is indexed, let me find where to save it. Okay, now this one is, let me just say CSS lesson 1, enter. So when I open the folder, I will save it as index.html. So it will tell our code editor that this one is HTML document. Before you can have a CSS document, you need to have an HTML document, because it is the HTML document that you want to style, and if you don't have it, you cannot style anything. So now for this reason, we are going to create a new file for CSS. So I'm just going to save it as .css. Let me say HTML, no, not inside this folder. So I'm using where I'm using introduction, no, CSS lesson 1. So I've just say style.css, or you can use any other name. So now it's telling the browser that this place is H1. So I'm going to save all. If you are using VS Code, you save all, save it, and go and open the original folder that you created this HTML document and the other CSS. So now I will now close folder. I will now go and open the folder back. So that when I want to do the live preview, it will easily work. So you search for wherever you put your document. So this is my document. I will just select it and open it now. Yes, wow, we have our documents now. We have index.html, we have style.css. Now, how we style this style.css? We first of all need to connect our CSS to HTML first. So what do? We do style, type style, so you can see it now. We are going to style our CSS, connect it to you connect your HTML, you link it. You can see link. So we are going to use link. Sorry, I'm using style. You can see now. So we saw what happened now. So by this href now, you now are going to put your style.css. So we have connected our style.css now. So now let me go to our style.css and see the magic that is going to happen in this particular area. We want to style our h1. So don't forget, from our definition here, they said we need to select a selector. So our selector in our code now is the h1. So as we can see, this is our selector. As we discussed the other time, and we have it in our h1 now. Our selector now, h1 is this. Welcome to our tutorial class. So you now go to select your h1 in the CSS, then you open a curly bracket. You open the bracket, it's like a bracket we use in our further math class. So now you now select your h1. We have selected our h1. So now what do we want to give our h1? For instance, let me say that I want to give it a color. Let me just select a color. For instance, I want to give it blue color. I want to give it a background color of white. Select background color. Let me select background color. Let me just select okay, let me select this one. So now let's save it now. We click on save. Let me minimize. So I click on file. I click on save all. Then I will now go to live preview and see what we have done. So let me click on live, go live. Within a couple of minutes it will load. Since my system is a little bit slow because of some software inside. So as our preview is still loading on the code editor, let's glance through other explanation. So we can see it now. Wow, this is what I just did now. You can see our CSS. So this is to show that we have already connected our CSS to our HTML. So we can see it now. I just put blue, I put H1, which is our selector according to the definition that was given to us in this particular place. That we select our selectors, we select our color. If it is font, I can decide to select font. I don't select font size, so I can say font size. Let me for which font size. Let me use font size larger. Okay, or I can put 12 pixels depending on what you are doing. So I'll just click save again. I don't need to refresh it again. The moment I go, you can see now the font size have reduced. So if I desire to keep it as 130 pixels, let's see what is going to happen. Now let me save it now. So we can see it now. Immediately I change it and I save it, the thing changed automatically. So this one is too big. I will just keep it as 60 pixels. So you can see it now. So this is the first one. How to the sample, selecting the selector and how we can use it. So each declaration includes a CSS property, name and value separated by a color. So for instance, you are doing these things together. You can do this thing in a straight line. If you decide to do it in a straight line, instead of curving it, bringing it down like this, but the best way is to bring it down so that you can easily understand. So now the semicolon bracket differentiate them from other. So when I save it, we are still going to get the same result. You can see it now. We are still getting the same result. So let's go to another one now. Let's go to another one now, which is CSS Selector. CSS Selector. A CSS Selector select the HTML element you want to style. If you select the HTML element that we want to style, CSS Selector are used to find or select the HTML elements you want to style. We can divide CSS Selector into 5 categories. Simple Selector, select HTML select element based on name, ID, class. Combined Selector, select element based on a specific relationship between them. Pseudo Selector, select element based on a certain state. Pseudo element selector, style and select and style of a particular element. Attribute selector, select element based on an attribute or attribute value. So this page will explain the more basic. Now the element selector are select HTML elements with red outline color. So now we can see now the example. Now we see paragraph. For instance, let me go to my code editor here and put paragraph. For instance, let me put paragraph P. Okay, I just put Lawrence Pin because I don't know what to put. So now if you go back to our website, if you go back to our code editor, you can see now we have Lawrence Pin, Lawrence stream there. Now we have it now. So we want to start it now. So now we come to our style.css. What you do, you just click, open another, you click it down, open another bracket. So you can see it now. You want to style, let me say background color, for instance. Background color should be this text color. So we can see it now. I've given it the text color. I've given the background color too. So this is the first section of this tutorial. So make sure you subscribe to get the latest one from our end, as we are managed to give you the best of Nigeria. As we managed to give you the best, of HTML on this particular channel. So good day guys, see you next time. Please subscribe and share this video for those people that want to learn how to build a website.